Finally, another Christian movie to talk about on The Captivating Christian. So the last time we looked at a Noah's Ark film on this show, it was the half-hour animated film from Golden Films, one of the many knockoff companies that spawned in the 90s that relied on ripping off films from Disney. Now we look at an eerily similar company, Good Times Entertainment. After doing some research, it turns out that they actually used to work together, until they eventually split and went on their own way. While they have a fair share of knockoff movies in their repertoire, they mostly stuck with doing half-hour animated retellings of fairy tales, or in today's case, a Bible story. Well, going by the cover, it looks great. The whole movie's not going to look like this though, isn't it? This is a reprint, isn't it? This is also an interesting point that I felt I needed to address. Some of these fairy tale cartoons that Good Times made in the late 90s, years later were then bought out and repurposed by our good friends over at Phase 4 Films, the same studio responsible for re-releasing Super K as Kiara the Brave. So you can already tell that I like them a lot. But today, let's see if Good Times Entertainment's Noah movie is better than the one by Golden Films. This is Noah's Magical Ark. Well, after a minute of opening credits, leading me to believe they probably reused this intro in all of their movies, we begin in a jungle area with a bunch of talking animals. Because yes, this is another Noah movie where the main focus is talking animals. Well, alright, I'll give this one some credit. The animation and the designs are better than the Golden Films one, so automatically that makes me want to give it a 9.3 out of 10 on the ng. That being said, that doesn't stop the occasional animation loop with characters' mouths just flapping up and down and them reusing that shot so they don't have to properly animate mouth movement.
So, young Vincent's got you believing in his dream too. I'm having so much fun, I almost forgot why I came.
Haha! But anyway, what is going on here? Well, these animals are sitting around eating and being persnickety when this koala with a child's voice rushes over saying there's a beaver that needs their help. Why do almost all of these jungle animals have a foppish British accent? And it's not just these select few animals, there's plenty of them like this later on in the movie.
2 of us is all you need, you say?
Give me one good reason why I should.
Yes, quite right. My dear, perhaps it is time we took a cruise.
Aside from the main protagonists and the antagonists, the only other character I can think of in this movie that doesn't have an accent like that is the comic relief Yak, who shows up halfway through the movie.
How can you doubt the sincerity of these 2 well-meaning souls who have ventured forth with such a story and a conspicuous attempt to save your life when they could have left your head buried in the sand, but instead reached out to offer their hand in friendship?
That's much, much later on in the movie. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So with no one wanting to help the beaver, whose name is Brian, by the way, and he's also blue as well, pretty sure that beavers in real life aren't blue. I didn't know if you knew that. Vincent the koala goes to help his friend out, but these two are soon reprimanded by the king of the jungle. A lion, oh no, I'm sorry, it's an alligator, and a rat that rides on its back, like he's the salacious Chrome to the alligator's Jabba the Hutt.
An excellent site for a dam, Brian. Except for one thing.
What's that, sir?
It's in the wrong place.
What?
Next time, you'll ask my permission before you build in my forest.
Wow. Well, how much worse could these guys get?
In the stratosphere of royalty, there's no one who's your peer. So I live a life of loneliness with no one to hold dear.
Oh. We finally start getting a form of a story as the koala Vincent wakes up from a bad dream that he had about a massive flood.
Despite the peaceful night, Vincent had dreamed only of thunder and lightning and endless rain. What could it mean?
Well, that's another thing about this movie. It loves its narration. Specifically, they'll use the narrator as a way to transition from one scene to the next. And they do this quite a lot. Like almost every 5 minutes in the movie, they transition scenes like this.
Vincent and Greta joined Noah to help him with the long and difficult job of building the Ark. Vincent and Greta set out to begin their enormous task of gathering the animals for the Ark, 2 by 2, in a slow and steady trickle towards the Ark. Vincent and his friends had miraculously survived the swamps of no return. He would deal with the traitor Vincent and the others. Everyone was quiet. No one knew what would happen next.
Ha ha! So Vincent tells the other animals about his dream, but everyone laughs it off.
Perhaps our young Vincent has been nibbling at the eucalyptus tree again.
But oh, it turns out that there is one person who believes Vincent, and it just so happens to be another koala. A female, no less, which totally means they're going to get together by the end of the movie. So, when exactly is Noah gonna show up in this Noah's Ark movie? Right now, it seems, as the two introduce themselves to an old man building a boat named Noah.
I'm Greta.
My name is Noah.
I'm Vincent.
Ah, we have another difference between this one and the Golden Films version. Instead of having the animals and the humans have their own separate languages, this one has the animals and the humans be able to communicate with one another.
What are you making?
It's an ark. A kind of boat. Very large, built to hold many.
Many what?
Animals, mostly. And my wife and 3 sons and their wives.
But why build it at all?
Well, it's a long story.
And now I'm going to have to give a point to the Golden Films version. At least that movie remembered to mention that God himself came to Noah and told him to build the ark. I mean, sure, the dialogue was drowned out by the poorly mixed audio, but,
It is I, God. I know to be a good man and righteous. Therefore, it is you I have chosen.
Chosen?
you know what, come to think of it, I don't even remember what my original point was. So these two are going to help Noah round up the animals that they need to fill up the ark, while the beaver hangs back and helps Noah build it. But the evil villain and their henchman Vulture, who's called Vern, yeah, some of the animals have names that are supposed to have the same letter as the species they are, and the main characters don't for some reason. But the point is, they keep their eye on our main characters, clearly trying to slip them up and disprove the worries about the flood. And now we've come to the comic relief character of the movie. A female yak who never stops talking with a thick New York accent.
Because just the other day I was talking to Stella the Sloth, and she said that Larry the Lynx felt that if anyone could help in these matters, it would be me, so...
So we all agree you do have a way with words.
On top of being the obligatory, fast-talking, funny-voiced comic relief character, you want to know what else she has to offer? Aside from helping our 2 main koalas go around and help round up 2 of every animal? She has a song number.
Then tuck your arms in tightly and open up your throat, and let the voice come forward that can launch 1,000 boats.
Oh. So because they speak words they see as treasonous, Luther and the rat force our heroes into the swamps of no return, where they will surely get lost, starve to death, or drown in quicksand.
Well, I don't know about you two, but I'm stopping for a rest. My limbs can't take it.
Yeah, behind you!
I found land! That way!
I can't hold her much longer.
If you wanted a workhorse, you should have hired one.
I'm slipping! We made it!
So of course they make it out alive, and they convince almost every animal in the jungle to going on the Ark by telling them it's a cruise. It is just now dawning on me that this is a Noah's Ark movie, and Noah himself has barely had 10 lines of dialogue in the whole film. I mean, his name is in the title, and he's barely been on screen this whole movie. Meanwhile, the villains get together with their cronies and conspire to unleash termites on the Ark and ruin our heroes' plans.
At precisely dawn tomorrow, we'll launch an all-out termite invasion of the Ark.
Ah, an ingenious plan, boys.
I should think those pesky pests should devour the wooden structure in a matter of days.
Probably a bad time to point this out, but why is that giraffe purple? Should I really be asking that at this point in the video? I just realized, like, the movie has, like, less than 10 minutes left, and you just now brought that up. That giraffe has been on screen since the beginning of the movie. You're just now gonna point that out. After doing all they could, they still need to round up many other animals all around the world. So how are they going to do that? They get these birds to fly around and spread the word of the incoming flood. But things begin to look grim as Luther shows up, ready to unveil his army of termites.
We shall see how long it remains standing after my little friend gets through with it.
A termite?
Oh, he's only the general. His army numbers in the thousands.
Look!
We appear to be outnumbered.
But they're not done yet. Even with his own men starting to turn and think the floods are on their way, Luther isn't giving up without a fight. Meanwhile, Noah and the koalas board 2 of every animal on the ark. But it seems they're missing someone. That's right, these snails that they had show up periodically through the movie as a running gag.
As Luther and the others watched the huge door shut, they knew in their hearts that Vincent's dream had been true after all. But now it was too late.
Well, that's a little morbid, don't you think? I mean, it's clear their species continued to thrive without them, since we still have these creatures living with us today, but still, they basically just implied that those characters died. I mean, I'm just saying, for a kid's movie, that's a little dark. So the floods come, destroying everything in its wake. The narrator transitions us 40 days and 40 nights later, and after 2 days, the dove returns with the olive branch, meaning that they found dry land.
All animals accounted for except for one male of the species. Bos, Bos, Boos, Runnians.
What?
Just call me boss.
Hey! Where have you been hiding?
Gee, I hope he's a good listener.
You will live a full and happy life, Vincent. And know that your future cubs will always be proud of their father.
My cubs?
Vincent!
Vincent and Noah shake hands, they part ways, we get one more shot of the ark, as well as the snails who are finally exiting it, and like that, the movie ends. So that was Noah's Magical Ark, and, well, it is a little bit better than the Golden Films one. I mean, just based on the production alone, with this having better audio mixing and better visuals, it's already a step in the right direction. Don't get me wrong, there are still things that make it far from a great movie, specifically the fact that despite being called Noah's Magical Ark, Noah barely does anything in this movie. Like, he's barely a character. And I'm sorry, the fact that this is a Noah's Ark movie that just kind of takes away the religious aspect of it, that just feels kind of weird. I mean, even El Arca had God show up multiple times in that movie, but this movie doesn't even mention him. It's still a way better Noah's Ark movie compared to the Golden Films one. Not like that's a high bar or anything, but it's still certainly better than that one was. But if you ask me personally, there are still far better Noah's Ark movies out there compared to this one. Well, stay tuned to Easter Sunday, because while I typically don't like to upload on Sundays, I'm going to be doing a very special Easter-themed video for this year. But until then, may Jesus be with you.
I don't know, Greta. Maybe my nightmare was just a bad case of indigestion.